Oh, hello. In today's video, we're going to be doing the Tabletop Impulse Hobby Year in Review. So, here we are, the week between. Extended family, hopefully, have left. Presents have been opened and played with and hopefully not broken. The batteries from your youngest child's most bleepiest present have mysteriously gone missing. And many of you will be returning to your hobby desks. Not me. I'm in Christmas exile until after the New Year. But it's time to look back. It's time to prepare ourselves mentally for the next year. And it's time for some filler content. So, knowing my luck, Games Workshop will have released some fantastic news, Kill Team Balanced Data Slay, amazing pre-orders, whatever that thing was that they previewed on Christmas Day that you've seen now in the future but that I haven't seen. Wow! Doesn't the new plastic Primark Fulgrim look really cool? I'm just assuming that's what it's going to be, but hey, was I right? Wow! Doesn't the new plastic Primark Fulgrim look really cool? Going to look really stupid if it's something other than that. What I'm going to do in this one is I'm going to go through all the things I hobbied on today. Pay attention, because I want you to pick your favourite at the end of the video. But this is all in service of the White Dwarf Bunker Bingo 2024, which is something that we do every year over on the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, links in the description. You can check that out down below. Yes, this is the same mulled wine from the Christmas Day video. Off we go. So, first thing I painted this year was Celestian Sacrosancts. So these have been half finished on my painting desk when I went away for Christmas last year. I remember it well, and I had the motivation to get them finished because we were doing the Tale of Six Gamers hobby challenge. Now, ironically, I need to do a video wrapping up the Tale of Six Gamers hobby challenge, which has now finished when you're watching this, I think. But it's finishing on the 27th, and Nightfall said he needed to work up until midnight on the 27th to have any chance of finishing, because he's not been well, bless him. Let's, hope Nightfall's okay. But I'm away now, so that's going to have to wait. But you're going to see all of my Tale of Six Gamers things in this video as well. So I can do whatever I like, it's my channel. But for those of you that don't know, we did the Tale of Six Gamers this year, focused on 40k. So the six of us all paid 750 points of 40k, and it was a great motivator because I have a massive 40k collection, and I don't play the game. I'm going to go for 3 games of 40k this year. No, more, because I played some Combat Patrol with Zimbad. I think I've played like 3 full-size games of 40k, 2 with Zimbad, 1 up north. No, it may only have been 1 with Zimbad and 1 up north, so 2 full-size games of 40k this year, and then a couple of Combat Patrols, a couple of boarding actions, something like that. But yeah, Celestian Sacraments, I think I did a really good job on these. I really like the way. So for those of you that don't know, and why would you? Because it's super obscure lore. In the Order of Our Martyred Lady, the Celestians are still in mourning for. In the same way, here's an obscure piece of British lore. The doorkeepers at the House of. It might be the House of Lords and the House of Commons. Definitely the House of Lords. The doorkeepers of the House of Lords wear black waistcoats because they were ordered to wear them when Queen Victoria died, and no one ever rescinded the order. That's a real way in which the United Kingdom is similar to the 41st millennium. So the Celestian Sacrosancts have the same thing going on. They wear black with the red on the inside because they are in mourning still for the St. Catherine, our martyred lady, right? Cool. But I did a really good job. They're really good. I'm a bit lukewarm on the bronze shields. Metallics are a bit of a nemesis for me, but I think the fabric came up really well. Bases are a bit nothingy, but then my 40k bases always are, because I've got to keep the basing consistent over the whole army, including the ones I did a long time ago when I didn't know any better. So what can you do? But I think they look really cool. Moving on. So our first kill team of the year. I've settled into a nice pattern of doing three kill teams a year to a high standard. So this was the Howling Banshees exclusive kill team, which was done as part of the New Year New Kill Team Hobby Challenge. And the idea was to do something, to push yourself in some way, to do something that you'd never done before. Never painted Craftworld Eldar before. These were all magnetized, so the arms are magnetized, so you can swap the Exarch's weapons out for all the different loadouts. I'd never magnetized anything before, and I think this was the first one of these display bases built into a Organizer shelf that I'd ever done as well. So a couple of firsts there. These are Howling Banshees, Yanari worshipping Howling Banshees, right? Hence the red. If they looked at these, back on these, I'm super proud of these as well. These came up really well as well. I think they look really cool. Did a lot of work on the display base there, trying to get the is it a Green Stuff World texture roller, and then there's like a layer of green stuff on top of some it's like fake concrete stuff to try and sort of emulate more of the marble. Like, I'm taking my cues from the sculpted basing that Games Workshop did on them already. Got some little tufts on the go there. Yeah, I think they look pretty cool. Didn't win any paint awards because the standard of hobby in the Kill Team community is sky high, but not for lack of trying. Pretty pleased with them. Then back to the hobby challenge, the Tale of Six Gamers, Tale of Six Hobbyists hobby challenge, Junith Routier miniature that I've always thought was amazing. So to me, this is like, a lot of people have their own thing that's peak 40k to them and different bits of the setting that they like. To me, this is Warhammer 40,000. Okay, this is a elderly space nun armed with a ridiculous sceptery, macy, wacky thing on a hover pulpit hewn out of marble, right, which has two giant flamethrowers bolted to the bottom, right? For me, this is where Warhammer 40,000 lives. Okay, this is a truly amazing miniature. And I was really pleased to get around to painting it again. There's some things I just have down pat, and I'm always really happy with how I do them. And my sort of sandy natural marble thing, like it's not bright white marble, and some people might argue that would look better, but I really like the sort of sandy sandstone marble texture that I have written down in my painting journal and understand how to create. I think the fire came out really well. The faces came out really well. The base is meh, okay, again, I'm trying to match it in with my previous bases, but other than that, really happy with this miniature. A rhino, you know, and this is the best thing about the bingo card, where you've got those squares on the bingo card that's like, you got to paint a vehicle. Nobody enjoys painting a rhino. Rhinos can just get in the bin. Like, everybody has them. I challenge you, if you have a 40k army, are your rhinos painted? I swear it's like the last thing that anybody wants to paint. But the bingo card with its vehicle squares, it forces you to pick things out of your collection that don't necessarily spark joy and get some paint on them. Paint a rhino like this with edge highlights and without dry brushing, because it's black and dry brushing black. I'm sure it's doable, but it's pretty challenging. It takes ages, and you end up, because you have to handle the vehicle with your hand, because you can't, like, mount it onto anything easily, you end up rubbing off the edge highlights, because the very place where you're holding it is like those top sharp edges, like you can see here. This edge highlight should have gone all the way along this edge. You can see some of it's been rubbed off, probably by my greasy fingers, okay? But still, I think, for what it is, a rhino, it certainly does the job. Right, hopefully you agree. First Shatterpoint model, Count Dooku. Now look, there are things that I could have tried to do on Count Dooku. other people called Zimbad have very impressive Shatterpoint models because they've done things. They've done object source lighting, and I could have made him a riot of object source lightning between the red lightsaber and the force lightning hand. But I'm actually really pleased with how Dooku came out. I'm really fond of the blending on the inside of the cape, which is a really weird. There was a lot of staring at stills from Attack of the Clones, right? Try and get this right. Like the colour on the inside of his cloak is a really awkward one. Really pleased to get that in. I think the face looks amazing, if I do say so myself. Like, I have this annoying curse sometimes where I will paint a really good face on, like, a Sister of Battle with a bolter on the back row of a squad. Because I think there is a certain amount of luck. When you're painting eyes and stuff, there's a certain amount of, like, oh, well, I've done it, and will it look good, and will he be looking straight? And if it's just quite off, you don't want to go back and retouch it because you only make it worse. And you end up playing the game going back and forth, going back and forth, going back. So, really pleased with Dooku. I think it looks really good. A lot of people don't like how I do my lightsabers, but again, lightsabers are pretty impossible to paint well. It's like a stick that's meant to be glowing. Yeah, I could have done OSL stuff. What I will hold up and say is I think the edge highlighting on the tunic could be better. It's a little bit wishy-washy. Okay, edge highlighting on fabric is hard. Edge highlighting dark fabric is hard. But the brush control there's obviously not quite been spot on. But the rest of the miniature, the cape and the face, I think look really, 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 really cool. So my first Shatterpoint miniature really was my first painted Shatterpoint miniature. Did I really just start Shatterpoint this year? This year? Well, yeah, must have done. Squad of Battle Sisters, like the Rhino, right? This is in aid of two things. The Hobby Challenge, okay, the Tale of Six Gamers, but also the rank and file squares on the bingo card, right? Nobody wants to paint the Billy Basic Sisters. I mean, they're more exciting than a Rhino. I tell you, a Sister of Battle has got to win an award for being one of the most challenging of basic battle line infantry in 40k. I think the Sisters of Battle take the biscuit for the man hours that they're required to paint, especially if, like me, you're fond of having them all with bare heads. So you got all them bare faces to paint, you got all that cloth to paint, all the leather, all the gold, two different tones of black because they got the black power armor. They also got the black gloves, black leather corsetry. It's hard. It's hard. Wow, look at this! I even put little glowy white plinky dots on the. I must have been really taking my time on the little things on the doors of the Sacculum Imperialis. Right, there's definitely times in my life when that would have been a bash of contrast and done, but I appear to have taken my time there, and that looks really cool. They look really good. I mean, her face is a bit weak. It's that thing where but her face is really strong. So it's that thing where faces are a bit random. I think honestly, the sculpt here was a bit weak, or the undercoat was a bit poor. What are you going to do? Django Fett. Now, a good friend of mine, Blue on the Discord, who is a massive Star Wars nerd, won't mind me saying, has pointed out, and I still haven't fixed it, Blue, that the ears, as it were, on Django's helmet should be blue, like the same as the trim on the visor. Apart from that, it looks really cool. Some people have said to me that his undersuit looks too purple. If you look at stills from Geonosis, then maybe it is too purple. But you got to remember that Geonosis was very orange. If you look at like pictures of the costume under normal studio lighting, it's basically an orange boiler suit, a purple boiler suit. Sorry. So that's what we went for, that purple colour. I think it looks really cool. Really happy with him. One day I might go back and fix those ears. It's probably never going to happen though. I think the basing came out really well as well with the little extra piece. I put in some just a little bit of texture paint to blend the extra component onto the base into the sculpted base. I think it came out really well. Really pleased. Magna Guard, the best support in all of Star Wars Shatterpoint, if you didn't know. So I first tried a technique that I'm currently using on something on my painting desk right now, but that's a secret. It's not. It's on the Discord if you look. But basically, you get a little bit of foam from like a miniatures case or an old school blister pack foam if you've got one. You stick it in a brush hat, and you just go nuts. So I painted up the silver, and then just go nuts with like sponging on the flaked navy blue paint onto the robot's body. I think that looked really good. Did a little bit of, you can barely see it in the photograph, a little bit of freehand on the cloak to do. They have these, if you watch the film, they've got these weird like green arrowhead line things going over their shoulder. That came out pretty well. I think the eye lens is really good, and I'm pretty pleased with how the shock staff, I forgot what they're called, the shock staff, the purple lightning staff things, they came out, came out really pretty well. I think quite pleased with those as well. The highlight on the metal's a bit chunky on the cartouche looking things on the fronts, and that's what I will say. Second kill team time. It's Kill Team channel. So, Night Lords. I mean, I've talked about these before, right, because they were done for a hobby challenge. They were done for the Evil Kill Team hobby challenge. I'm still really pleased with these. I think they look pretty good. One thing I would probably do differently, the Dead Space Marine on a stick looks he's very cool looking, but he looks very pink and vital and healthy. To say he's a torso, maybe I would make him a bit more pallid if I did these again, but that's really the only thing. I think they look great. Yeah, I'm not really criticising myself here, am I? Man, this base was a pain in the ass to make, this display base, and it was all done with official Games Workshop Citadel skulls, because I hate money, apparently. And in fact, not only that, but I only used human skulls, because I thought that the bigger skulls, the orc skulls, the demon skulls, how does a demon have a skull, spoilt the effect. So I really wanted to replicate that sort of John Blanche painting style vibe, where the floor is a carpet of skulls for some reason, and I thought, well, why not? I think they look really cool, and I'm really happy with them. So there you go. Sorry if you wanted to hear me whinging about stuff. Sarge Ventress. Her skin, I think, came out a bit dark. For what she's supposed to be in the shows. It's not the best lit photograph in the world either, to be honest. Really happy with how the clothes came out, though. I think the purple looks really good. Really pleased with the blending on the purple. Really pleased with the detail on the tabby bit of the belt. Quite a simple miniature in a lot of ways. A lot of these Shatterpoint models are quite simple. And the reason I didn't go back and lighten it is because I'm actually really pleased with the face. Even though the skin tone is dark, like the lipstick, the colours, the art, the eye makeup, all these things are all on point, and I basically have to do the entire face again, and I just wasn't about that life. But yeah, she looks a little bit darker grey than maybe she is in the Clone Wars animation. But like, I feel like when it's animation, you've got a little bit more license to not quite totally match the colour. Like, I feel like if she showed up in a live-action show, which I don't think she ever has, she'd probably be a slightly different colour anyway, because makeup is always going to come out a bit different, so I'm not that worried about it. I think she looks pretty cool. And then we got Kalani. Yeah, pretty straightforward miniature. Like, that hologram is just contrast paint over a white undercoat. It's nothing fancy at all, which I think just looks fine for what that is. Quite challenging to judge from the source material which bits of Kalani should be black. Like, bits of him like that. Front panel with the gold on is black rather than green. But otherwise a pretty straightforward model to paint, actually, in a lot of ways. Oh my, what was not a straightforward model to paint. And again, this is another model that would never have seen the light of day if not for the various both the hobby challenge and the hobby challenge making me do sisters, and the hobby bingo card making me do vehicles made this miniature. And this is why I set myself these challenges, because it's a beautiful miniature. It's a beautiful miniature, but it just takes, as a project, it just takes so much painting to do all the little greebly, weebly bits that sisters are known for. I think it came out really well. There are obviously some issues. You can see where the spray paint's left me a nice little lump on the front there, which is always really super obvious on vehicles when it happens. But apart from that, I think, again, I just give myself a big pat on the back. The weathering on the tracks is probably a bit too subtle, as it always is. Like, you can see it's a bit brown, but I tried to put loads of weathering on, and then put the fixer on, and then the varnish on, and then you can barely see the weathering powder, and such is the life. But I know it's there, guys. I know it's there. But no, I'm really pleased with this. COD made these wood, because Heavy Metal did, on the box art. I'm not sure they should be wood, but, you know, it ties in with the wood they did up here, which I think looks really cool, so... Yeah, I just think it was such a mission. Yeah, some of these lines are a bit wibbly, wavy, wobbly, these freehand red lines, but it looked cooler than without them being there. I think so. B1 battle droids. Not the most inspiring things I've ever painted, to be fair, but they needed doing, right? The job needed doing. I feel like I should have had two... I should have saved up two metal bases, because they got much better contrast on this base. But Mrs. T.I. says she feels sorry for the ones on the metal base because their camouflage, the colour that they... Because B1s are that colour for camouflage. That's why the Geonosis B1s are red, because Geonosis has a red floor. So she feels sorry for these ones because their camouflage isn't working. But as we see through the Clone Wars, or the cartoon, this is very much the default colour for B1s, right? It's just that the Geonosis ones are red, but the default colour for all the others, including the ones that serve on ships, is this kind of sandy brown. Would make more sense if the ones that fought on ships were just left unpainted metal, just saying. Another squad of Battle Sisters. Again, it's the thing of the challenges, both forcing me to do basic line infantry and forcing me to stick with one army throughout the year, which I think squad really well. I think they look pretty good. Obviously, the varnish has caught this melter gun a little bit. Like here, this is just varnish catching, which annoys me. This is here at the back is a limited edition Battle Sister Solana Palace, I want to say, something like that, right? But it was one of those commemorative figures, but just a basic sister with a bolt gun, so she can go into this squad. That's no, never mind. I think this came out really well. The magnifier came out really well. Yeah, a couple of helmets sneaking in. I think there's a couple of the models that were originally in the Monopose, the FOMO box that came out originally with Sisters. I didn't keep those together as one squad. They just kind of got muddled through the army. So I think that's where some of these helmets have crept in. But it looks cool. I keep saying it. Another model I would not have painted if not forcing myself to do all these challenges, because the Triumph of St. Catherine was a mission, right? Just because it had to be done in sub-assemblies. You know, it's basically... You're basically painting 6 characters and a base, and then the beer and the cherubs and everything else. Again, really happy with the way this one came out. I think it looks spot on. Yeah, no notes. No notes. Obviously, the black cloth highlighting, I'm still not 110% happy. Better than on Dooku's jacket, a bit straighter, but it is a bit hard to do. Maybe it's a bit stark. Maybe I need to change up my recipes a little bit. I don't know. But I'm a creature of habit, you know. So it is what it is. Wine. And then, of course, my third and final kill team of the year, the Brood Brothers. Loads of work went into these. Okay, you know, the Magos here is converted from a female. It's the female Psyker that was originally in Warhammer Quest, 40k Warhammer Quest game. The expansion, the Ascension expansion, that model. Kit bashed with the female Magus, the GC called Magus. So, because what I wanted to do with this whole team was make them look a bit more, push them a bit more towards Imperial Guard. So spreading throughout here, you've got bits from the Cadian Command set, because I needed some extra bodies anyway. I think there's even some Cadian upgrade pack as well for the kneeling legs for the sniper rifle. The Primus, who alarmingly, I didn't show you properly in this photograph, but he is in some other videos. Is converted from the Cadian Officer kit bash with the Primus, and of course the Patriot with the little Commissar's hat on. And this was the first one where I, you notice the display base looks a lot more level compared to the other two, so I stopped using cork. At this point I had my 3D printer, so I actually designed the display base using Tinkercad, printed out the whole tray, right, so that the things fit in exactly and it looks a lot neater, a lot tidier. I was really disappointed in these when I first painted them. They didn't quite look how I wanted them to look. I think the varnish caught slightly, just slightly, and they're all slightly duller than I'd hoped. I also ran out of the weathering powder that I typically use, so I bought another company's weathering powder, which is this much lighter sand colour that you can see. I don't know. Let me know, because I need to know for the next team I'm doing whether I'm going to continue to use this powder or whether I want to go back to buying a darker powder. Let me know what you think about that extra colour of that lighter desert sand on top of the orangey sort of underlayer. Does it look good? Does it look realistic? I can't decide for myself. In my head, all my kill teams are fighting on a desert planet still, right? They're all still going to continue to be as if they're fighting on Octarius, even though we've moved in the narrative. I'm not going to start basing my things on urban bases, generally speaking, so I need to know for my next kill team. So let me know in the comments if you like that lighter coloured. I tell you what, it has hung around better. A lot of the times with the weathering powders, you put it on and it basically disappears. So, you know, the fact that you can see it is a good thing. But let me know. They grow on me. They grow on me. They grow on me. And they did get compliments at Not Skill Team, to be fair. I didn't win nothing. But, you know, they got compliments. Fulgrim, the Illuminator. So, again, this is a model. I've had this since it came out. When did Fulgrim come out? Resin Fulgrim from Forge World. When did he come out? Like a long time ago. And this is entirely because the bingo. This is why I love the White Dwarf bingo card. 2 Lords of War spaces. Now, Lords of War isn't really a gaming category anymore, so we defined it, you know, centerpiece unit that feels a bit extra, doesn't fit neatly into any of the categories. So the Triumph was one of my Lords of War, and Fulgrim here. I'm constantly dipping into my Heresy army for Lords of War, because Heresy is all about the big centerpiece units, right? I mean, I think that, personally for me, like, you let me know, this is my mini of the year from what I've painted. I think he looks absolutely superb. I'm really, really pleased with the way he came out, the way the salamanders on the base as well set it off, and the snow is to match in. Not necessarily a decision now, but the whole thing is that they're all fighting on snow bases, my Emperor's Children, for whatever reasons. That's what they do. I really like this one, but you let me know in the comments your pick for Mini of the Year from Mike. Is that egotistical? Forcing? Nah, it's my channel. You can deal with it. I had a little bit too much to drink. It's fine. You can deal with it. You can tell me which you think's the best, and then we will see. We will see. We will see. We will have seen the thing. These are not winning Mini of the Year. These are some B2 battle droids. I tried to make them look interesting. Like, if you've seen Star Wars, these just aren't interesting guys. Right, they're just silver blobs. And I've tried, there's some brown wash going on here. Right, and I've painted the eye lens very carefully on all of them. And there's some wash and some contrast. And there's quite a little bit of work gone into these to try and make them look a bit more special than maybe they actually are. Right, but they are what they are, right? And again, on this one, the ones on the sand look so much better than the ones on the metal, so maybe I should have... I don't know. And then we got Kraken. Brother to Kalani, I guess. Painted later. Subtly different. He has yellow eyes. He has a different design of Goldsworth to pick out. He has different little bits that are black. So he has these little wing bits that are black. He has some black on his fingers. I don't know why I went so hard on the base with the weathering powders and the rust and that. It looked really cool, though, in my humble opinion. So there you go. I think it does look really good. I don't know what it's supposed to be that he stood on, but whatever it is, it's rusty, and it's rusting the ground around it. Yep. That's how rust works, I think. I hope. And General Grievous, at time of recording, haven't got a game in with General Grievous, but get a game in with very, 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 very soon. Now, this is Mrs. Tabletop Impulse's favourite model I've painted this year. She really likes General Grievous. I'm not so sure. I know that Blue and Zimbad don't like it because they're like, oh, your lightsabers are really dark. They should be a lot brighter. It's like, yeah, I can't paint lightsabers. Let's just leave it at that, right? I followed Duncan's tutorial for how he painted the lightsabers on his, like, Luke Skywalker. So if they're too dark, you can send your complaints to D.Rhodes. But as to the armor's okay. I can see little places where is this pooling or is this desired shading? Is this pooling or is this desired shading? For me, it was watered down contrast that went over to try and get the effects. I think I'm happy with it. But it's Mrs. T.I.'s favourite mini that I painted this year, so I must be doing something right. And that was enough to paint everything that was so. What have we got? Battle Sister Squad. Now, this year's bingo card had half the squares dedicated to gaming, so easily filled those in with Warhammer World, Critical Strike, Not Kill Team Easter Extravaganza, some Friday Kill Team with Zimbads, right? So everything we've seen here was enough to totally fill out the bingo card, so I fulfilled the bingo card for this year. However, and in fact, I fulfilled the bingo card. These Shatterpoint miniatures here, this one, and this one were painted after I completed the bingo card, so they're not on the bingo card either. And then the White Dwarf with the 2025 bingo card came out, and even though people on my Discord tell me it's cheating, I literally make the rules. So my rule is, once it's been published, the 2025 card, you can start painting and you can count things towards that 2025 card. And let me tell you, I went hard in December. So it was when we started the Lord of the Rings. Now, to be totally fair, these were almost finished, but they weren't finished. I wasn't deliberately trying to game the system. These were almost finished when the bingo card launched, but I finished them. I think they were waiting for the flock or something stupid, but I finished them, and then they're ready to go. I'm pretty happy with these. There is some mottling here. It's very visible here. Basically, the spray undercoat that I used for Saruman is like a Wraithbone spray. And I think it's just gone off a little bit. It just didn't dry as smoothly as I would have hoped, did the Wraithbone spray, and that has... at this kind of macro photography level, right, that has really affected the finish on some of parts of the model, in my opinion. But other than that, I think it looked really cool. I don't paint the eyes on, like a lot of people, I don't paint the eyes in on Mescaber minis. Like, that's a thing that people say not to do because they're just too small. And I haven't said that publicly, but nowhere where I've posted these did people go, oh, you forgot to paint the eyes. Don't paint the eyes on Mescaber Go-Ons. It's just got some wash and stuff in there, and it looks fine. Did paint the eyebrows because Christopher Lee has big black eyebrows, and they actually are sculpted really prominently onto the Saruman miniature, so had to pick those out in black. It's a really iconic way of distinguishing, film-wise anyway, Saruman and Gandalf is Christopher Lee's big dark eyebrows. Really important part of the face of the character, so they had to get done properly. Other than that, pretty happy. And the horse came out really well. That's just like it was Mechanicus Standard Grey, and then the Black Templar contrast paint over Mechanicus Standard Grey did most of the work in terms of this lovely depth and marbling that you get here. And then some of the thicker bits obviously picked out in a couple of actual brush on grey highlights, but the majority of what you see of this beautiful horse is just a contrast paint trick, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, really happy. We also painted Green and Wormtongue. Really happy with Green and Wormtongue, actually. I think he came out really, really well. Tried to get his kind of sallow flesh tone, because he's not a healthy man, right? And his dirty handkerchief and all this stuff. Came out really well. And the Palantir, which is pointless, doesn't do anything, but it comes in the box, so why not? And then I also this year, last thing I painted this year, started doing Cad Bane's box, right? Cad Bane's Shatterpoint box. I think they came out really well as well. I'm really pleased with... Now, these are really interesting, actually, these Bounty Hunters, because almost everything you painted Shatterpoint is a named, like, a character with screen reference. And this little guy down here, this is Todo. This is Cad Bane's droid. He has a canon appearance and a canon look, so he looks like that. But these two are just, you know, guys. They're obviously, the race is set in canon, so in terms of the fur and the mouth and the fact that this guy is like a red devil, essentially, technically a Devorian is but you know, that's set in. But in terms of what they're wearing, I had free reign to paint them how I wanted. So the shirt colour and the jumpsuit colour is the olive green kind of colour that I have for that I did on my Kazakh originally, and then I did again for the Brood Brothers. That's using some Vallejo paints that I have. Only 2 Vallejo paints that I own. No, I have 3, but 2 of the 3 Vallejo paints that I own are for that, again, that military kind of green cloth colour. And then the big thing, I don't want to bury the lead, like the big thing is I tried to do denim, and this is it's probably the most technical painting that I've done all year, because this was a proper mixed job. This was, I think it's Night Lord's blue, and then just Night Lord's blue with a little bit of Dawn yellow mixed into it, and you just go across, and then you mix in a little bit more Dawn yellow, and you just kind of go across, and you're just trying to literally, like, it's proper painting where you're thinking about where the light would hit the jeans, and you're trying to get that texture into the... because these are totally smooth on the model, trying to get that texture in just by going from left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. There's a little bit of edge highlighting as well. So you edge highlight these ridges with the same colours, and these ridges here, and down the fly, and that. But generally speaking, it's just trying to go left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, and get the texture in. And they came out really well. Really pleased with them as well. So there you go. That slide should be there. Final thoughts. So this is where I am for the Bunker Bingo 2025. I've already got 5 squares filled in because I'm cheating. No, because like I said, this is how I run it. When White Dwarf is published, that's the starting gun. It's not my fault nobody else is as gung-ho out the gate as me. As you can see, this year's Bunker Bingo is going to require you to be relentless, because it's twice as many things as last year, because there's no gaming squares. Nevertheless, if I can compel you to, I do recommend doing the Bunker Bingo card, because it forces you to paint those gods of war, those rank and file, those tanks, those things that you have probably in armies but don't necessarily get round to painting. So, as we close off, I've just got a few questions for you. Will you participate in the 2025 White Dwarf Bingo card? Details are all available on the Discord. Link is in the description for the Discord stuff, so let me know. What was your favourite thing that I painted this year? I've said it a couple of times, but let me know in the comments down below of all the things just seen in the video. Which one do you vote for as your favourite? And has anyone got any feedback, hints, tips, comments, constructive criticism, or hate? I'd love to get some hate comments, right? You can't paint, you fat bastard. That would make me smile, actually. Because that's how you know you've made it as a you know, Andy always brags about all hate comments he gets. Like, oh yeah, I'm a proper YouTuber. Look, I get hate mail. I don't get any. And it's like, that's when you know you've made it. I got one once and I pinned it. If you go back, you can find somebody's like, dude's so big he fills half the screen. And I'm like, yes, a hate comment. I pinned it because why not? That's how you know you've made it. Do you paint much more than me? Much less? Or about the same? It's a genuine question. Have I painted a lot of miniatures compared to you? This isn't like a dick-waving thing, right? I'm not trying to engage in a pissing contest. I'm genuinely curious do I paint an average amount, an average quantity, an above average quantity? Because I can gauge my skill level, right? I go on Instagram and see, well, my stuff is generally worse. You know, I can go to kill team tournaments and go, my stuff is generally worse. There's other stuff that's winning awards, okay, but it's generally better than some of this other stuff. Like, I know roughly where I sit in terms of ability to paint a miniature, but in terms of the quantity that I put out, I've got no idea. So let me know where you are, where I am. I know some people paint much more than this, because some people can bash out entire 2,000-point armies in like a month, seemingly. I want to say thank you to all of my members, but especially to Compendium Lover, right, who is subscribed at the highest tier and then just generates quite a lot of money for me. Every single month he pays quite a lot of money in to the old Tabletop Impulse War Chest. So thank you for that, guys. And I will see you back in the new year, in the land of the actual like videos that have been created recently. Enjoy that reveal. Once again, how was the Primarch Fulgrim? You in the future, let me know now in the past. Have a good one, and I hope it was a good Christmas. I'm hoping that I have a good Christmas when I get there, but you watching this have already, yeah, you know the one. Alright, see you then. Bye bye, bye 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 bye.